Let's see if I can get this up. Oh, that was a nightmare. Let's see if we can get all of this up. Hello. Finally got it up. Sorry, everyone. It doesn't seem to like me when I try to set this up. Okay, because it's almost 4 o'clock. I apologize. This was supposed to be up at 3. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, Simplicity. Okay, I see the picture. Okay, let's just make sure that's all out. Yeah, technology, not my friend at all. Now, don't forget, guys, of course, you can ask me any questions you want, but also you can talk to me about the shows that have recently ended on my channel, such as My Day, In Between, the History series, Boys Lockdown, Theory of Love. Any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. I can't stay too long today. I have to take my mother somewhere. And unfortunately, we have now even less time to do that. So ask away if you want to. Oh, you can also ask me about Word of Honor. I'm only up to episode 5, but I can give my opinion on those 5 episodes. For Word of Honor, yeah. Honestly, I think it is one of the most cinematic shows we have seen so far. The cinematography is astounding, especially for a show that apparently has half the budget that it usually would have for those type of period dramas. Again, it is about 5.5 million in UK money, which is huge for us, but over there, it's not. It's the soundtrack, the music is amazing. I absolutely love the music, the set design, the props, and the story is starting to pick up because it kind of has to take you somewhere. So you can't always have it action packed. You generally just can't have a show completely full of action all the time. You have to have a narrative, and that's what we're starting to find. At least I am, come episode 5. Hello to the new people. What am I looking forward to? New series. I am looking forward to Kin Porsche. If we're going by just that epic trailer that we saw, then I mean that looks like it's going to be really good. There's one with Off and Gun, where Gun is going to play a twin. So that reminds me of The Parent Trap, but I guess a Thai mafia version. I'm trying to think, what else is coming up? I know Singto has new projects coming up. Prom. I hated most of the people in my school, so I actively chose not to go to prom. I mean, we don't do it the same way in America that they do over here in the UK. UK is a very small affair, but I genuinely hated the people in my school, and I don't think they really liked me, especially the guys. So yeah, I didn't care for prom, but I imagine you had a lot of fun And I'm guessing maybe you didn't even get in till 4 or 5. I mean, that's what I would have done if it was prom. I think with Word of Honor, it's not just it will take you a while to get into it. You just kind of have to let yourself sit back and absorb what's going on. And because people who watch it love the show so much, you kind of have to take that step back. Oh, if you do see someone commenting like in green apparently, or maybe you'll see the name D, that is my best friend. So she will be just randomly drinking and commenting. So, talk to her if you want to. Hi, Nihib. But yeah, Word of Honor is going to take, I think, I'm into it already, very much into it. But I still want to see, of course, where it's going to go. And there are so many characters that, of course, as time goes on, I'll get to know them more. And I like that there's no such thing, really, as a good guy in this show. Everyone's shades and everyone's kind of anti-heroes. Yeah, UK proms are very... I mean, I don't know what they're like now. They might be different to when I was supposed to go. But, I mean, at least I'm not in jail for murder or robbery like some people in my year. Yeah. Oh, you're new to the school. Oh, that's... Is it, co-ed? Is it grammar school? Because it's never always fun to be the new one in school. And it also depends on when you go, if like you're a freshman, a junior, senior. Yeah, I love you too. Don't worry, screw them. I actually need to see more of yours, Jeanette. I was watching your reaction to it, but now that I've seen up to episode 5, I can sit back and watch yours properly. I watched episode 1, so I need to go back. Oh, it's an art school. Never mind then. That's fine. It's an art school. Everyone's usually quite free and liberal there. There's no real problems when it comes to art schools from people I know. Still though, probably better than a lot of other schools. Yeah, I do. If you guys have seen some of my reactions, I do like complex shows. I like shows that make you think, that make you take a step back and go, is this what's really happening? Why is this happening? I like analysis. It's just kind of how I've always been. And I guess it comes from being in that field that I kind of take a step back, and the work brain of me comes into it, and I'm like, oh, I need to analyze the shots and the story. Also, story is very important. I think if none of us really enjoyed it, like if a character's not well written, it's going to be a big problem. And I think we're starting to see that they're realizing that, because so many shows have come out. But I mean, I'm looking forward to watching the rest of Word of Honor and The Untamed when I start The Untamed, which should be, I think, next week. For anyone here, if you don't follow Jeanette, she's also someone who does reactions. You can see her name here in the chat. Why don't you go and look at her channel at some point? Just not now. Oh, you're graduating this year. Yeah. Get out. When you graduate, just go. I don't know where you're going to go, but go somewhere. Who's your favorite character of all the shows you've reacted to so far? I really liked the characters of Vlad and Carl in Gaya Sa Pelicula. I do think those two represented, and I think it's because it's written by someone who is queer, that it kind of hits home a bit more. But those two characters were really good. I loved the character of Bun in Manner of Death. Gav and Cairo were really good in Game Boys. That's a really good show. But out of all of them, I'm gonna stick with, I think, Vlad from Gaia Sapelicula. For now, I will change my mind probably tomorrow. And who is my least favorite character of all the shows that you've watched? To be honest, anyone from What the Duck? No. Everyone knows how I feel about the actor God from Two Moons. I'll put his character as my least favorite. Or the one from My Dream. Was it called My Dream? It was really bad. There have been some interesting BL shows. For me, it looks like I'm looking down, but the camera's right there. I think why. Hello, Linda. I think why Vlad works for me so well is because he kind of bucks the stereotype. He kind of calls out Carl in his bias and his stereotyping and said it's okay to ask questions. Don't act as if you're going to jail or recoil in disgust because he finds out Vlad likes men. It's those little commentaries, social commentaries, that I think we need to see a lot more in BLs and kind of get rid of the problematic elements. Oh, also, you can ask me questions about Lovely Writer, because that's actually finished as well. I've also finished on Patreon Nobleman Ryu's Wedding. You Make Me Dance, I've also finished. Hello, Sophie. Well, I think Vlad and Carl, they're too young to be completely themselves and find out who they are. It takes a long time to find out who you are. And I think as we get older, we still figure things out. I don't think we're ever truly going to know everything that we can about ourselves until maybe the end, wherever that may be for us. But I just like that Vlad at least has a sense of going through what Carl has gone through, so it's okay to ask questions. I think. What do I do in the film industry? Well, if I'm not in front of the camera, then I'm behind. So I act. I have a bachelor's in drama with like tiny little dashes of criminology. I also have worked as a assistant director, and I guess technically on a director and acting coach. I more stick to first ADing and acting. I prefer to be in front of the camera, but it's also nice to be behind because you see what it takes to make a show. And I don't think people realize it takes quite a lot. Top 3 Korean BLs. Okay, top 3. You Make Me Dance is up there. I really, really like that. I really like Mr. Heart. I know it's short and sweet, but I really enjoyed that. Oh, it's stuck in my head now because obviously I've been watching a set amount. Where Your Eyes Linger was really good. I think. I'm trying to think now. I just finished one and it was really, really good. And they worked in a cafe. I can't remember the name of it right now. I'm really frustrated. Because I really enjoyed that one. Someone will remind me. Hi, Steffi. To My Star, thank you. To My Star, that would be there. To My Star, Mr. Heart, and You Make Me Dance, I think, are my top 3 right now. At least you were sleeping. I was trying to get this up. What do you think about AOE? there is a lot to unravel with the character, and apparently someone didn't like the fact that I was kind of really annoyed with him when I consider it crocodile tears in the last episode, because as soon as he came off that live, those tears stopped. Um, and I think Aoi has a lot of issues going on. So we know his family are really awful people, considering how the father treated him, and then the sister just wanted him back simply because it was easing any sort of pressure off of her. Nothing to do with them loving him or really caring for him. So he's got those kind of issues. It's very complex, his character, when you break it down. But he does a lot of underhanded things because that's the only way he knows. And I just didn't like him going on a live, creating a lot more issues, and then feeling bad about it afterwards when there was those tears stopped as soon as that live stopped. But I will say something about the character is, if he annoys me that much, the actor's done a good job. If a character really makes you angry, they're technically doing their job, and they're supposed to be the bad guy. Yeah, acting is. I think people think acting is incredibly easy when it's not. And because you do theatre and dance, I did musical theatre. I did go to drama school for a tiny bit when I was younger, so I did drama with speech and then singing. I don't know why I did singing, but theatre is also a very, very hard thing because it's actually very different from TV. Theatre is, you talk to the audience in the back row and you exaggerate, and in film, it's very confined to a little box that they kind of want you to do it in, and your emotions have to be more on your face, but not exaggerated. And it's really hard to even make any sort of money from acting. I mean, in the UK, they over 90% make less than 11,000 a year, maybe even 95%. Comments. Ah, you were watching Jeanette's reaction. That's really nice. Okay, is it Aoi? Is it A? Because his name is spelled differently, but then everyone says it differently. I hear two different ways that his name is said. He was never going to end up with Mork. I think that was a wasted potential. There was definitely wasted potential for certain characters. So Mork kind of, I felt they tried to use his character and then it just didn't go anywhere, unfortunately. The same for Hin. Hin was probably one of my favorite characters, and it was wasted again. And the show did fall into the usual tropes of BLs. It kind of did certain elements, but also had the meta aspects to it. But I think with Aoi, a man, they could have given a resolution, but I think they wanted to show that his resolution, unfortunately, hadn't come about yet, and his loneliness and his depression was just heightened more because of the situation. I guess he wasn't supposed to get off, so they weren't supposed to let him off easily because of what he did. It seemed like everyone kind of took a step back and said, you messed up. It would have been nice to at least have one person talk to him, but maybe if they were to ever do a special episode, they will kind of highlight that. What did you think about how they didn't seem to find the best solution to Gino's ship? Now the solution. I have to ask everyone, what did everyone think of that kind of break of the fourth wall and them kind of making sure that they knew that you knew that they were fictional and you were in their world? The solution for Gene and Nupsip, with how they kind of ended their relationship the previous episode, I was expecting a bit more. It felt like they just kind of got back. They just kind of counted turn and kiss and they were back together. And I couldn't actually tell at first if that was a vision what it was happening, but of course it happened. So I don't know that there was. I felt like there could have been a better resolution to their relationship, but maybe that's just me. Yeah, definitely more of an issue for the relationship. I was just thinking of your question there, Pixie. In the shows you've watched, whose acting performance has really stood out to you? It's got to be Gunn. Gunn, whenever I see him in anything, really stands out to me, especially in Theory of Love. I absolutely love his character in Theory of Love because of all the levels that he went through in acting, and it just highlights why he's considered one of the better BL actors. If acting is easy, yeah, acting is yeah. If acting was easy, everyone could do it. Yeah, it seems like not everyone was particularly happy with Aoi. Oi. Um, I have to agree with you there. I think Yoongi, which personally, actually no, I'll get on to history for what I really think of his character. If you could change one scene or plot from a BL, which one would you choose and why, and how would you see? Part of me wants to say make our days count, but I don't know if I would change the whole thing of it. I maybe would take away the weird doppelganger element of the final episode, where I'm not sure if he was supposed to be imagining that person's face on another person's body. Uh, oh. Because it's hard with BLs because they tend to end on a good note. So part of me wants to say I don't want to change it because it ends on a happy note. I would change actually history for. I would change the getting the brother drunk and taking advantage of him scene, because I think that for me really put a negative aspect on their relationship. And maybe even I was actually discussing this with my best friend, who's, if she's still here on the live, I'm not sure if she is, she might have disappeared. Which was, I would have preferred it if maybe we hadn't been introduced to Yoongi as a younger person. Maybe we could have seen them be adults already when the parents get together, because then I don't know, just elements of it. I'm just not a fan of that couple, which is a shame because the actor who plays Yoongi is really good. I quite like his stoicism, but just the couple. Um, I don't know if Yoongi is more likable than wait. Maybe maybe he is in elements. I feel like he actually has a kinder soul than Aoi. But then it also I think it also comes with him not coming from an extremely wealthy family that doesn't care for him. He came from, obviously, his 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 father's side, the patriarchy side, uh, have issues. I don't know. There's so much you can unravel with Yoongi. There's a lot of him. There are elements where I feel bad for him. Elements, you know, I don't know that character. So you like the breaking off the fourth wall. I think the issue I had was, I guess they were doing like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet and all of these things, and I'm not sure if it was supposed to represent just scenarios that they could go through in a jokey manner to make the audience just understand that it's quite meta, and it's giving you clues to what maybe the industry is really like there in Thailand for the BL side of things. A song you're obsessed with these days. Um, I've become obsessed again with "Free Your Mind" by In Vogue. And that will probably lead me back to Waterfalls by TLC. And I'm usually listening to Blackpink. I listen to their music every day. But yeah, Free Your Mind and Vogue is a song I'm obsessed with. Which song do you think had potential to be... Oh, which show, not the song. To be great, but one thing or another didn't let it be as good as it could have been. See, that's really hard because I do think it also... Do you know what? I think what had potential was Love by Chance too. I think it had potential because of how much people enjoyed Love by Chance. But taking around 7 episodes to have the main couple kind of back together, and yet it was like an alternative reality, yet everyone else still were the same people and had their same reality, but theirs was different. It just... there was so much potential for that show, and I just... yeah. Yeah, I understand why you could find the ending for Make Our Days Count is perfect, because they do warn you with the title of the show, Make Our Days Count. It's kind of heavily implying for you already what's probably to come, because, you know, you make them count. I did actually like, I guess, the open ending for the main character in it, when you kind of get a hint of what he may be planning to do to himself, or if he's going to move on. I thought that was quite smartly put in so that audiences could discuss it. Favorite and least favorite trope. Well, I guess some of my least favorite tropes are the step sibling ones. I do not like that. And I don't know if you call this a trope or just part of a trope, but the whole I only like this one gender, I don't like anyone else of that gender, it's just this person I like. I just feel like it takes away from the moment. Favorite trope. Favorite trope. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just say strangers to friends to lovers. I like progression on something. So I like to see it start somewhere and then build up. Maybe that. I'll have to go and look at some more tropes. Yeah, Li Chen and Muren are the best part. Li Chen has become my favorite. From my least favorite character to my favorite character, but that's also because he's the most developed. And yeah, they fall into the same patterns that they did with Trapped, which is kind of slight overreaction or overacting to certain things and the color scheme of it. But Li Chen's character really is the most developed on that show. Oxygen. Oh yeah, Oxygen, the Doctor. I did not like the Doctor and the sister storyline. I really liked, what was her name again? Kim. I really liked her. I really didn't like the Doctor, and they made him play the same character that he literally plays in Sota's S series. I feel like that actor's not being used to the best of his abilities, and I genuinely didn't care for the Doctor character. At points that I would just completely edit him out and their story from my reactions to YouTube. I just... ugh. I feel they could have done so much better with his character, and his character just all the lies. And then he still got what he wanted in the end, even though he lied and did all the things that he did. Yeah, to be honest, I only watched their scenes because I was kind of made to by doing reactions. If it was me not reacting to anything, I would have just skipped their scenes because they're not worth it. They're just not. And I feel bad for the actor. Have I? I've not dropped a BL, and that's only because I'm reacting to them. Have I wanted to? Absolutely. Yeah, and that includes some of the ones that I said that you could ask about, the shows that I finished. I will say My Day was a very hard show to get through because of clearly the lack of understanding where the writing was going and making actors improv. Don't make them do that if they've never done it before, because you will then get a minute or two of a scene where it's clear that they don't know what they're doing. And yeah, you could sense that the actors had no clue, and I felt really bad for them because there were some really nice moments in My Day, but the writing, it was hard. I would have dropped. Would I have dropped any BL shows? No, What the Dark. If I'd been reacting to that, I don't think I could have. Or My Dream, or whatever that was called. I don't think I could have gotten through them. Yeah, I imagine Kim's character is more likable in the novel. I mean, unfortunately, when it comes to novels, you can put so much more detail in a novel and bring a character to life than you can on screen, because certain aspects of a novel just don't translate to film as much as people may want it to. And also, people get so annoyed because, of course, when you really like a novel and they miss out so much, you kind of get frustrated because you're missing out kind of elements that really bring the character to life. Webcams, not our friends. So someone asked me, so what is all of you guys' favorite characters from a BL so far? Do you have something that you can almost... Even if the acting isn't particularly amazing, if the writing is good and I can see what they're trying to do with a show, that can make me carry on watching the show. Of course, the acting is very important, but I need a show. I need a show to have a really good plot. Like, it needs, the writing does really need to kind of hit you, because if the story isn't great, it's just not going to work. I will say something that probably could make me drop a show is if it's just focused on the beauty of someone. I'm not really into the vanity side of stuff. I need an actual 3D character. I need someone who's multi-dimensional. I don't think I've watched that couple yet. I don't think I've watched End of Love. No, I don't think I have yet. I should. I did have that written down at one point. Hi, Judy. Any BL you struggled with at first, but it raised your... struggled. Make Our Days Count. I didn't really like the first few episodes. I'm not into the whole bullying thing, and I get that they were young, but as that went on, and I really enjoyed the characters, and you really got to relate and understand them, I think that was a really good show as it went along. What else did I struggle with? Trying to think now. I might have to come back to other shows that I struggled with, because I think there's a few BLs that I probably struggled with at first, and then as it went along, I enjoyed it. because I think that can happen to a lot of shows. Cherry Magic was really good. I just didn't like the fake out kids. Other than that, and I wasn't really into the side couple, but they were still good. But Cherry Magic is actually a really good show. It's one of the only few I didn't actually react to. I took the time to just watch it. Same with Mr. Hart. I didn't actually react to those. So those are the two that I kind of sat back and was able to just view it. The couple, yeah, the main couple in A Thousand Stars, Earth and Mix's characters, Pupa and Tian, were really good. I think that show actually went beyond what I was expecting it to be. And I'm really happy about that. Because sometimes when you put high expectations on a show, they really have to meet a high standard, and sometimes you can feel really let down if they don't even meet one criteria. But A Thousand Stars I thought was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and it was just nice to have them away from a university. Can we just have that more? Type from Fun Type. Well, I'm glad he's one of your favorites. I have to say, yeah, Type is a really well written character. Probably one of the best written characters from a BL because of what we see him go through. Is it true? They are. Yeah, there's supposed to be a special episode of Lovely Writer from what it has been put on Twitter. I think it was on there. So I'm not sure if you have to pay for the special episode or what. I'm not sure exactly what it will entail. Maybe it's them in the future. And still, I'm not a big fan of Together series. Who was Man again? That was so. It was quite a while now. Yeah, Manner of Death was really good. See, sometimes a problem with watching a show just until episode 4, which is a good episode to look at because you've been able to at least get an understanding of the characters. Sometimes it can dip a show, but then all of a sudden it picks back up. But if you do drop it by episode 4, there's usually obviously a good reason for you to drop it. If it's just not appealing to you. Yeah, Manner of Death is definitely up there for me, and it's because it was adult, and I think they're starting to understand that. I know BLs are technically supposed to be catering towards younger girls and guys, usually younger girls, so that they can kind of fawn over these actors. But I think what's happening for the world of BLs, people are starting to kind of say, well, we would like you to do this, and older people also watch this and appreciate this and want to be represented. Loved 100 because of you. Because of you, yeah. Trapped 3 is really good. I will be re-watching that on Patreon down the line because it is actually a really good show. Our 1st of June is the Lovely Writer premiere. Did any of you watch Boys Lockdown? Did you like that? What other shows? Hmm. Well, I understand why you don't like the university stuff. I get that. I think for me, why We Best Love worked is because we got it in two parts. So we kind of got them at university, but we got them more or less at the end of it, and then we got them 5 years later. So we didn't have to dwell on that side, and they didn't overuse the university thing. That was more about their relationship, and then obviously the time jump. I don't know. For some reason, We Best Love worked a lot for me, even though it was set at university. It's just something about that show. I think was really well put together. Yeah, Boys Lockdown, I think is sweet. I actually thought it was very sweet. I also thought Cheat, the series, was uh, nicely done for the budget that they had for the show, and that's because indie films and lower budget films can really work on certain aspects that will really make you appreciate it. So I like color hues and gradients in the camera work and stuff like that. Yeah, just let's not make let's just not make every BL set in a university, and I think that will make a lot of fans happy because then you get elements of the university, but then you can have another shit that isn't about it. Cheat, yeah. See, for Cheat, I like I said, I liked elements of it. I also did pick up on the big shock reveal by episode two. I just allowed myself not to say anything and just go with the flow. And was like, oh, poor this person. When I knew from the evil look that they give at one point they weren't a good person. But you just let yourself go with the show because they are trying to create twists and turns. And maybe season two will bring a lot more supernatural elements to it. I hope they bring more supernatural elements. And also maybe bring back the mistress because she just disappeared. Well, also with Chinese BLs, they can't really, sexualize the guys, can they? Because they have to find means around censorship. So again, because you can't do that, you are going to focus on plot and character, and there's some really, really good characters and plots that come from Chinese BLs. And I guess because we don't have to be focused on their sexuality, that is just a part of them. Sophie, you wish you had more horror BLs. I can completely 100% agree with you. Horrors are my favorite. It's my favorite genre, especially slashers and stuff like that. Um, it would actually be nice to do some sort of horror series with some of the BL actors, because you know how like American Horror Story does different ones. It would be quite nice to have them do that. You can even change the genre if you want. It would just, I guess, I just want some of the actors to get more work. You're one of those who waits until the show's over. I get that. You're definitely a binge watcher. Um, I guess we didn't have that back in the day. Sometimes I'm lucky that I haven't seen a show, so that when I do watch it, I can just watch it. I'm quite lucky that there's so many shows coming out, so that I can do my reactions, and then by the time I get to that show, it's finished, so I can just watch it. My favorite horror film. I would say one of my favorite horror movies is Night of the Demons, which came out in 1988, 87, 88. And yeah, you heard the title. It's a B horror movie, so there's gore. Um, there's some really great special effects, some really good special effects. If you aren't quite jumpy, do not watch it by yourself. If you have a partner and they don't mind sitting with you, watch the horror movie. I just really like that. Scream is also a really great movie. I guess it depends on what you call horror. Train to Busan is classified as a horror, I guess, and that is an amazing film. Would you classify Battle Royale as a horror? Because if so, I would tell everyone to watch that. Oh yeah, you go through wait until I finish my reactions. Might as well, and then you could just skim the parts that you just want to see. Gore, thriller, BL would be great. Yeah, I have to tell you, those elements would be great because I think if they were to do a horror thriller, they could take away focusing too much on them being a male pairing and they just happen to like men and create more of a scary atmosphere. Oh, thank you for watching all the way through. Because obviously, Jeanette knows we know kind of an average of what people watch of our videos because it tells us. I love horrors, but then as the person called Simplicit D, like I said, who's my best friend, she knows how much I love horror movies. Probably a bit too much because it's my favorite genre. Um, Battle Royale is one of the best movies I've ever seen. I honestly, and I don't think it's particularly scary in a jump scare type way. It's more about society and what they did. That's more of the horror element of it, and it's really smart because from that movie you got Shiaki Kuriyama, who went on to be Gogo in Kill Bill, and it's because of Battle Royale that she got that part. Yeah, Aliens. Aliens is a really good series. Weirdly enough, I really liked Aliens Resurrection. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why that is probably my favorite one. I don't know why out of all the Alien series. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of the actors has started to do blogs and travel blogs, and I guess it's so that as an audience we get to know them a bit more because I feel like sometimes they want to interact with the fans, and it's how do they go about it without a fan being a bit too obsessive or them not really showing their true selves. I mean, a lot of them did. I know Max and Tool at one point had um, a blog, but then that kind of died down. And I guess it's because the hype around them also died down at that point because they moved on to other things. I wouldn't call you a scaredy cat. I definitely think you can watch a horror, and now you could watch it with a certain person. Yeah, the astrobiologist in you is why yeah, yeah. Anything to do with space, you love. I mean, that is your element. And you, because you've watched Star Trek and Star Wars, that's it. So I guess that element. I'm not sure. Do you like fantasy that much? Well, you love Buffy. A supernatural horror BL series would be fantastic. It really would be fantastic. because I feel like they could do a lot. I would love as well what they're starting to do, which is they're mixing, is it Korean and Thai shows together? You get an actors from different countries acting together. That would intrigue, I think, a lot of people and bring a lot of people together. Hmm. I mean, yeah, variety shows, they used to be so big here in the UK, way before my time, when we had like Morecambe and Wise and things like that. But they're just not like that anymore. Not in a variety sense. I mean, we do have the Royal Variety show, which is performed towards the royal family. What series or movie would you like to see a BL show equivalent of? Oh. I mean, technically it's hard to say because some of the shows I've seen, like Buffy, is technically has elements of that, but I would go for Buffy. Or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and just loads of little Macs running around. Movie wise, I would like to see. There's a movie called The First Wives Club, and I would love to see a kind of BL equivalent of that. I think that could be quite funny, or a comedy. It's definitely a comedy mystery. It was called Murder by Death, and it's really, really funny. It's from the 70s. That would be quite funny. There's this horror movie called Ghost Lab on Netflix. It's not BL, but the chemistry. I'm not really into bromance, um, bro, but I think I've heard of Ghost Lab. Star Wars over Star Trek. I have not seen either, so I have to take your word on it. I mean, like, I can literally say I have seen clips of Star Wars and maybe in total 5 minutes of Star Trek. The only reason I would watch Star Trek is I know Whoopi Goldberg was in it, and as someone will tell you, I will watch anything she's in. I just haven't got around to it. Uh-oh. That's actually a very good question that was asked earlier. So, what about for the rest of you? What kind of show, series, movie would you like to have a BL equivalent of? I'd like to know your answers. Psych. Psych. That's now. That's not Jennifer Love Hewitt, is it? Where she's that medium, or is that Patricia Arquette? No, that's medium. Psych rings a bell. Is it an American? It's ringing a bell, the name, but trying to think here. Yeah, you're gonna have to help me with that. Hunger Games BL equivalent. Okay, well then I would say BL for that. Sorry, Battle Royale, which is literally the Hunger Games is Battle Royale, just in my opinion not as good. Also, you spoke about the Hunger Games. Have you been watching on YouTube? There's someone who's literally been making up the games, and they're really good. His name's Christian Blanco, I think. So if you got guys like the Hunger Games and you like to create scenarios of what would have happened in other games, he literally studied from the first games all the way up to the 100th game, and they're pretty good. Charmed, but make it BL. Yeah, do you know what? Charmed, I would really like to see Charmed, but BL. As much as I love Charmed, that would be quite interesting how they would be able to do it. See, I've heard of Psych. It rings a bell. I might have to go and look that up to refresh my memory about it. Yeah, that's not a shock if Holmes and Watson were together. There's usually kind of little snippets from shows like that. And it's like Interview with the Vampire also has these moments where it's not made too clear, but it's, subtly put in there. Yeah, Charmed. I love Charmed. I know a lot of people fell off of it after series 3, but I still enjoyed it. It definitely did go down, I think, in season 4, season 5, and then I felt it picked back up. But I also really did like Rose McGowan as an actress. Obviously, Holly Marie Combs' Piper was my favorite. But a Charmed BL would be really good, actually. Now, with Lord of the Rings, are we talking about the closer to the book with the tiny little writing and the 1,000 pages? Adventures of Merlin. Oh, are you talking about because there was a lot of hints that there was a romance between them and a lot of people wanted them together? I used to see clips on YouTube about that. I have seen, I want to say I've seen a couple of episodes. I mean, it ended a while ago now. But I remember a lot of people saying that Merlin and Arthur definitely had a relationship. Have you ever watched Dante's Cove? Yes, I have all of them on DVD. I don't know why I bought them. I mean, it more or less just softcore porn with no plot. I mean, the most interesting part of it is when they showed a flashback of one guy and he was huge, and then that's all everyone spoke about. Dante's Cove went really weird, especially with the main blonde guy, and what happened in season 3. It was just, if you want to watch people more or less fake having sex, what is it called again? There's an actual terminology for it, but yeah, Dante's Cove is just, yeah, it was something. Yeah, because I guess the term BL is more suited to Asia, whereas I think the rest of the world uses kind of like queer media or LGBTQ plus. Have you ever seen Friendzone? Oh, is this the one with Singto? I haven't actually watched either 1 or 2 of Friendzone. I should, because I feel like I might enjoy it. But yeah, I just know that he's in that, and I probably would watch him in that because I like his acting. Maybe I should have done this live later because, unfortunately, guys, I've got to go drive to pick up my mom and take her somewhere. So I've actually got to go now. I should have probably done this live in an hour, seeing as I'd be back. And I could have spoken to you guys a lot more. But thank you for coming to the live. It was fun talking to all of you. If you do want another one, then please say you do. It's fine, you can. But I do actually really need to head out. So thank you for asking the questions. And maybe when I do another live, I'll have more shows for you to talk about. Take care.